Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, October 9th. We are going through the news and I am done with not only the Americas account, because I only need to get 2 things done on a Monday. I am done with the European account, so it is time to switch over to the Asian account. Streaming more often means there's actually less to do. So if I was, I would never have the schedule for this, but if I was to stream every single day, I really would only do 1 daily quest. It would probably be less than 45 minutes per day. Maybe sometimes less than 10 or 15 minutes per day. Well, I desperately need somebody to come on the Asian account. Is Destroyer or Tactor Torn or anybody who's gone through the setup of this? Let's see. Let's add people. How can we do this? No. Like, who have I played recently? Alright. How to make friends on Hearthstone. Let's get rid of this because this one is more valuable. And we need to play 50 warrior class cards and win 5 games. With Paladin and Priest. That's actually going to take quite an amount of effort. Warrior class cards. Are these all warrior class cards? Good. Alright. That was apparently the last daily quest I needed to do anyways. James Anderson, I'll log in real quick. Oh, I wish I had looked at that first. If you're on the Asia account, that will happen. That'll work. I think I'm probably at level rank 20 on everybody, but maybe not. I want to get to rank 20 so I get the card backs on the European and Asian accounts. That's kind of all I care about. So, Dead Rising 4 is going to bring back the original proper Frank West. And they've really ruined or meddled with the Dead Rising series. Like, you introduced the character, people moderately liked Frank West, and then they got rid of him. They've changed the game multiple times. James Anderson, which server? This is the Asian server. But if you haven't gone through the setup on the Asian server, I can't do anything. I could watch and learn, I suppose, if you wanna. If we could watch you do the original setup fights. Yeah, James Anderson. Sorry, I only have America and Euro. I'll make one just a second. I guess we can watch it. Sure. I think you have to friend me again, too, and I don't even know if you'd be able to do that. They desperately need to merge the servers. It's so dumb. So dumb. The SNES Mini is hacked to play downloaded games. It runs RetroArch, which is the interface structure of several emulators. The one thing that I would say is the SNES Mini is going to eventually not be supported unless it's just this system that is constantly available for purchase for like 5-10 years, and you still probably are better to use a Raspberry Pi and RetroPie, which uses RetroArch, over buying an SNES Mini. There are even RetroPie cases out there to look like the Super Famicom or the Super SNES, if that is something that really matters to you. I personally only have nostalgia for the original NES console, the box. The second top-loading NES looks ugly to me. The Super NES top-loading looks ugly to me. The Nintendo 64 console looks ugly to me. Somebody was saying on a chat that they thought there was only like 17 games worth playing if they were going to make a Nintendo 64 Mini. That by my count, there's at least around 80 games for the Nintendo 64 that are worth playing, because the Nintendo 64 had a good selection of racing games, and if you're going to have maybe only 1 or 2 racing games on an NES collection or a Super NES collection, you probably could get 5 to 10 for the Nintendo 64, because that's when racing games start looking good. So there's probably a lot more than what you remember for the Nintendo 64. Not probably as many as you could stretch for the NES and the Super NES, but it's still a lot. The GameCube is the one that I probably would have trouble with, trying to figure out what games are worth coming out for the GameCube besides Nintendo Direct properties. Alright, let's see. I last played this. Add friend. Enter. Friend request. So anybody I play, I'm going to try to add as a friend, and I'm going to just try to build up friends this way, because I desperately need friends to watch and learn. I desperately need a challenger friend. And if James Anderson is here, he hasn't sent me a friend request, or so I can't watch him. So we'll back to this. See, I still have a lot of tabs open, but who knows how many of these are really stories. Apparently there's a 3D brawler game set in 1970s, which is a B-list superheroes in a game called Deadbeat Heroes. When does this game come out? This is another one of these PC Gamer advertisement things. Like, we were paid to... it will be available on October 10th. Check back soon to read our review. Let's watch the trailer on it and see if see how I feel about it. It looks like a Unity DayZ, like, not DayZ, but unturned sort of cheap Unity game. I don't even know if I should mention unturned here. Let's just say, for simples, let's say it looks like a cheap Unity game. It's not going to get any advertisement or play, and it's not going to sell very well, would be my guess. So there's Indiecade International Independent Game Festival happened, and I follow them on Twitter, and they announced a bunch of games that won awards. It's just kind of the video game industry patting themselves on the back. And I'm gonna go through some of these games and see if any of them are worth really mentioning. I honestly don't know if indie games should exist. Like, that's the thing. And some of these games aren't even video games. These are like real world games. New concepts. Let's see, play this, attack this, do this, in return. Detention is considered an indie game in this case, and it is a decent game. It's a Korean horror game. Like, Detention is one that I want to play. It looks pretty decently animated. So yeah, that is definitely something I might play next Halloween or the Halloween after that, or like at some point maybe I need to find a February or some other month where I play even more areas. So we'll spectate D-Long when he gets on there. I need to find a time where I can play even more horror themed games, because there's too many of those that that come out per year. Let's see, charge, attack, in the turn. See, apparently there's a game. Let's see what this game looks like though. Called Emotional Fugitive Detector. It's it's not a real world. It's a real world game type thing that apparently detects emotions or facial movements. Why is this considered anything for PC gamer? Like, basically somebody puts their face in a box and then somebody on the other side is asking them questions. Trying to determine it. It's like the test for simulants at the beginning of the first Blade Runner movie. James Anderson, LMAO, that sounded sad. What sounded sad? Always put details in your comments, because it takes me a few minutes to look down and read them. If you can. Emotional Fugitive Detector. I thought that's a good name for an actual video game. Sadly, it's not a real video game. There's a game called The Mummy Demastered coming out October 24th for Xbox One, Switch, PC, and PlayStation 4. Let's see what that trailer looks like. It's from WayForward and Universal, so this is a demastered video game, as in we didn't spend any time to make 3D graphics. I hope that doesn't become a new word that people use, a new phrase. And it seems like it's tied to the Mummy movie, but it doesn't seem like it's tied to the Mummy movie either. It looks like a Metroidvania game. It's a world of gods and monsters, The Mummy Demastered. Alright, here we go, spectating mode, and while we're at it, I'm gonna send a friend request to this person too. Just anybody I play now on the Asian accounts. I don't know, like, oddly, even though the Mummy movie was a flop, a total and complete flop, I kind of would play this game. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the Mummy Demastered to see if it's any good. Keep an ear out to see. James Anderson says, dude, finish Warrior Quest while I finish this. Well, if you finish this, then I can spectate you. If the spectating thing will let me. Here's not really an important article about how what remains of Edith Finch guides the players with words on Rock Paper Shotgun. A lot of articles in general are just fluff. They, like, somebody needs to get paid because they're paid per word or per article, so they just write about anything. And sadly, a lot of the times, I haven't even gotten into a rant today. Wow, I must be pretty calm today. But a lot of times, the fluff articles are actually just attack pieces on other things or other people. Here's one. I've been hearing a lot of rumors that the final act and the true ending of Middle-earth Shadow of War, come on, fail or succeed. Fail or succeed. Game. So, remember you didn't finish the quest because I was doing the tutoring. Yep. Yeah, I was gonna get back to it. So, I've been hearing that to get the final ending of Middle-earth Shadow War, you either have to grind a lot or you have to use loot boxes. It clearly feels like they are trying to force you to pay more to see the final ending. Now the game is also kind of just out right now or not out yet. So the people that are playing it and reviewing it may be getting a slightly different experience in general. There's a lot of trickery that has been done in the past and will be done in the future, where the online elements and the loot box elements aren't even live, or they're not balanced the same way as they are when it goes live. But here's a Rock Paper Shotgun article, if you trust them. I particularly don't, that says you don't actually need loot boxes. So I would say that is, man, fail or not fail. I guess I'm just gonna have to quit out. Like, that did not want to work. So I would highly recommend that everybody wait and see as far as Shadow of War. And in general, I think the game probably isn't good enough that you have to play it at all. So now would probably be a very good time to do a protest vote also, and just not buy the game at all. Maybe think about doing a what would be waiting until there's a final complete version of the game. See, I should get a watch and learn. This will be an interesting test, as if James Anderson just wins this tutorial, and him winning this tutorial is probably incredibly easy if he's really going to play, and if I'm really going to be able to see him play. So October 10th, today is the 9th, so only people watching us live will be able to respond to this, is World Mental Health Day, apparently. And because of that, all proceeds from the sale of Hellblade Susuna's Sacrifice, which isn't the best game ever, but it was a decent game, from what I heard. I haven't bought it. Like, all proceeds for that game tomorrow on that day will be given to a UK mental health charity called Rethink. This is a very much better way to do a giveaway of your profits to charity than what WB did. That being said, it's still, I keep thinking I'm playing, it's still very much not what you should do if you want to give to a charity. I would highly recommend instead, if you want to give to a charity tomorrow or any other day, give directly to a charity, get a receipt, write off those donations if you can, but don't let a company take your money and then write something off on their tax receipts, because this really is just tax manipulation for companies. They get the charitable donation. You can't write something off if you got something in return, anything at all. On the other hand, if you want to feel good about buying Hellblade Susuna's Sacrifice, tomorrow I guess would be a good day to buy it. You probably shouldn't feel too bad about buying it any day, because you are supporting a game company that went independent and is trying to do something different and is trying to make good games without filling it with a bunch of microtransactions and garbage. I would recommend, I suppose, buying the game at some point, and if you want to feel really good, buy it tomorrow. You are, however, also probably paying slightly too much for this game, because I think the game is a little short for what you're paying. It wasn't a full price game anyways, but like, I think for what you get, considering there's really only 2 or 3 gameplay mechanics that just get repeated over and over again, you're not getting much of a game. Instead, you're getting a very pretty interactive story. But there's nothing wrong with that. People have paid a lot more for visual novels. Fire Emblem Warriors is coming out for the Switch and new 3DS on September 28th in Japan and October 20th in North America and Europe. So there's some new ads out for that. There's actually quite a few old Nintendo things that you wouldn't really think about as Nintendos.
For now,
things
after I destroy your troops, I'm coming for you.
Things like Age of Wars, Advanced Wars, Harvest Moon, things that were on Nintendo or at least partially funded by Nintendo, but then they kind of got abandoned, and you didn't see a lot of them for quite a while. Man, there's so much extra dialogue and animation in these original tutorial missions that you never see again, and they just take up space on your hard drive. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to have this whole setup system. I've said it so many times, but like, just let the player jump in. Like, a new player on a new server, if you must have different servers, should be told, here, we'll give you 30 days to borrow some cards and play your friends immediately, and if you want to go through the tutorial, here's the tutorial button, but we're not going to require you to play 7 games. We're not going to require you to get to rank 10. We're not going to require you to get to rank 20, which is all they do right now. It's like, you have to get to rank 10 to unlock all the basic cards. You can't play anybody until you have all the basic cards unlocked. You have to beat each of the characters once to play as the character, so you have to get 8 victories against the other 8 specific characters besides the mage, and then you have to get at least one character in ranked play up to rank 20 to do tavern brawls, and doing the tavern brawls gives you more cards. I mean, it's literally about 3 days worth of playing Hearthstone before you can even play your friends. And that's why people get frustrated, and that's why so many people just disappear and haven't even stopped logging in. That plus all the other frustrations Hearthstone does. But frankly, I'm just ranting about something that I've ranted about many times. So there's a new trailer for a game called Cyber Dimension Neptunia 4 Goddesses Online. Yeah, let's see, what kind of game is this? I'm seeing a lot of anime girls in angel outfits, and they're fighting. But it's an online game, so sadly I'm not gonna be able to play it. It actually looks pretty cool. It would catch people's eyes. Let's see. It's due out for the PlayStation 4 October 10th in North America and October 13th in Europe, and for PC via Steam in early 2018, which means that's not a priority. But it's an online game, so that sucks. There's a new game that came on Steam called Hanako Honor and Blade. It's early access, but its animation style looks kind of cool. That being said, it needs some people to see. That didn't work. Oh, darn it. That did not satisfy a watch and learn. No, it didn't. Alright, well, then we need to continue playing warrior cards. I thought that would have worked. That was a waste of time. Apologies to everybody watching. We've already had several games on Steam and some that have come out on console that are around the concept of fighting using swords and shields. This one is more Japanese in its thought, so it's more samurai, and it looks a little bit more action based, or at the least it seems like it's not player versus player always, but I'm having a hard time telling if it's a player versus player or if it's a single player game. Yeah, this one might be one to watch, but it's not ready to recommend. Let's see. Confirm. So the creators of a game called Dungeonland and Chroma Squad have launched a Kickstarter for a co-op RPG Relic Hunter called Relic Hunters Legends. Let's see the trailer for this. Now, I don't recommend anybody ever fund Kickstarters, and honestly, this one in particular doesn't strike me as very interesting looking. There is really a catch-22 with Kickstarters too, because I will literally say I wouldn't recommend anybody fund a Kickstarter because it looks bad, not ambitious enough in its graphics. And then I will also say that on the exact other hand, that this game looks too ambitious and they won't get enough funding or ever finish it. So there's like no good way to do this, and it's simply because of the fact that the truth is that it costs a lot of money, a lot more money than people think, to make video games, and people can't fund $6 million to make a video game. So then they set their goal as $1 million, and then they have to find some other source of income. Here we go. We are now starting to finish the news here. I'm almost out of tabs with the news, which means we are almost done. So, James Anderson, I may actually just end the stream and watch and learn on you after the fact, unless I can think of something to talk about. So, everybody put your comments in the chat and we'll see if there's anything new to say. Steam has put out some more standards of Steam VR tracking and all of that, so they're still trying to work on VR. That's kind of all they've done. I already mentioned it, but the Press X Not to Die is finally out of early access. I don't know if they actually added too much to it. Let's see. Here's a PC Game article that says the cost of maintaining a full collection of cards in Hearthstone since the launch has doubled, and it doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon. Is that a fair and accurate representation of the situation? I suppose, like, in a sense, but in an opposite sense it isn't, because what that sentence means is what it means is that people who want a full collection, whether in gold or not, have had to spend twice as much in the 3 or 4 years to have everything. But it kind of assumes that you haven't been playing the game the whole time and getting those cards too. What that really comes down to is, I suppose, if you're a new player and you want a full collection, it is going to cost you twice as much in gold and dust than it would have when the game launched. Which, okay, that's not really that big of a deal. James Anderson asks why. Well, what I'm thinking here is I'm about to run out of things to talk about, and when I run out of things to talk about, I kind of just have nothing to say. So we can play a little silent here for a while, and we can wait while you're getting through all of this and try to get your first real game. You'll have to just challenge somebody on casual and actually win, which that's going to be really difficult for you since this is a brand new account. So I think we're going to we'll try a couple of them. So if you will just keep going forward, I'll try to stay streaming, but we'll see how long it takes. Battlestar Galactica Deadlock Frames. No, wait a minute. It's called, man, I wish these people would know how to use quotation marks. The name of a game should be in quotation marks, except for in very specific scenarios. Like, I don't need to put the name of a game in quotation marks when I'm putting it as the title of my video, because it's the only thing that is in my title. So the whole thing is the name, except for a number afterwards if it's been serialized. So if I put Hearthstone number 751, everybody knows that's Hearthstone, and this is episode number 51, or at least most people know that. But if you put a title in your article that is Battlestar Galactica Deadlock Frames Disaster Management with Tactical Space Combat, it is so easy to misread that, and not realize that it is the name of the game is Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, Deadlock, and then the rest of the sentence is the explanation on what it does. So, anyways, that game frames disaster management with tactical space combat. What's odd here is, why would this game be mentioned? When did this game come out? Is this new? Who owns the copyright to Battlestar Galactica? Like, I don't dislike the idea. It's pretty decent thought, actually. No problem. To have more Battlestar Galactica games, kind of based on that old the new TV series, even if you can't get the voice actors. And while this does look kind of like galactic civilizations, I think there's probably enough room in the video game industry. See, Deadlock is set during the first Cylon War, when humanity's cybernaut servants originally rose up, which theoretically that was supposed to be the original TV series, but I don't know if any of that really integrated or made sense. Let's see. But I bet you don't get any of the voice acting or anything. And they're saying it's sort of like XCOM. Yeah. Alright, interesting game. Probably not a game that's going to get a lot of advertisement, because again, this is probably just a PC game viral marketing ad. PC Gamer viral marketing ad. That's why I follow PC Gamer, even though I don't really like them, is because they get the advertisements to advertise other games that I won't see otherwise. In comparison, look at like Giant Bomb. Like, Giant Bomb has gotten very, very bad about only playing the biggest, most well-known, most hyped games. And they've really stopped covering anything else. They're covering maybe 3 or 4 games between their West Coast and East Coast 2 offices. But that's pretty much what they said they were going to do, is that they were going to become this personality-based website where them playing video games was just kind of an add-on and not the main focus, which kind of eventually gets down to the point to say that they've decided to stop being game journalists, and that they no longer have a fair use claim, because they're not really focusing, or they're working away from focusing on using the footage of games for educational or news reporting or any of the fair use excuses. It's not going to be very transformative if Giant Bomb turns into a bunch of people talking to each other and joking around while playing some game, which a lot of YouTube channels are out there like that. Like, it's a good thing I don't run YouTube, because as much as I hate them being hostile to the creators, there are a lot of people that do no commentary videos of video games that have no fair use defense at all. They're not adding anything to it, and those kind of videos should be kicked out. But those kind of videos are actually very popular too, because people don't want to hear people talking half the time. Of course, you could always mute the player, mute the video, turn on your own music.
Get behind me.
But yeah, I need more people who are covering more varied things. Even Jim Sterling has with Steam Direct stopped focusing on the bad games that get put on Steam. Either he's having trouble finding them or he just doesn't care anymore. I'm not sure. He's found something that works better. I'll get some more things. James Anderson asks, what are your thoughts on Elsa Gate? Interesting. My thoughts on Elsa Gate are nothing because I have never heard of that. Is this a video game? Or, like, first thing that Google comes up, what is Elsa Gate? Elsa Gate is a phenomena on YouTube in which a number of researchers speculate is a complex web of fetish channels. What makes these fetish channels different is because they seem oriented towards children. They also have millions and millions of views, often surpassing within days anything near what most of the most successful YouTubers get, including PewDiePie. I had heard some of this, and I think this is probably somebody wrote an article about this to create a controversy. Let's see, the channels have a similar theme with 3 characters that appear in concert throughout a labyrinth of channels. The key characters are Spider-Man, the Joker, and Elsa from the Disney movie Frozen. The common theme within these channels repeats and includes what some researchers describe as toilet or water sports fetish. This includes main character Elsa being involved in continuing scenes in bathroom and urination. I do have to say this article has a lot of pictures to back this up. Is this really a gate, though? Like, I don't think this is anything. And like, this is just Rule 34, if that's the right rule of the internet. Anything you can think of, there is porn of. Now, here's the thing that YouTube has already said, so apparently YouTube was aware of some of this, that things will be demonetized if they misuse a family character, like a family-friendly character. So Mickey Mouse, Elsa, Spider-Man, Joker. Arguably, maybe the Joker isn't even that family-friendly, depending on which Joker you're talking about. I think this is probably just a meme. Honestly, I think it's just a Rule 34. The thing I'm not seeing on that article I just saw, and I hadn't even heard about it, is I'm not seeing anything that's particularly actually interesting sexually. Like, I'm seeing things that seem like they're designed to be jokes. They're designed to be, this is what a kid who knows nothing about sex thinks sex is, or all of that. I'm not sure it really is aimed towards kids, but there certainly might be a lot of kids that might, in very deep YouTube searches, come across something like that, or even try to search for something like that, it probably speaks a lot more to a unwillingness to properly educate your children in sexuality. The best search, if a kid is curious about sexuality, is actually just Wikipedia. And if you search genitals on Wikipedia, you will see quite a collection of varied genitals. And that's kind of what kids used to do before the internet existed too, is that we'd at least look in the dictionary, look up dirty words. So there's probably a level of curiosity and a level of kids getting there, but I think 95% of the people that are making these videos are probably doing it because they're memeing. They're just being silly. Maybe there is some fetish out there for those three characters. There certainly are, but I don't think it would be implemented this way. As far as it actually
My hammer burns with holy fire.
Victory or death.
it actually being a gate now. No, like, we insult the phrase gate, which everything's a gate now, if we consider this an actual problem, because it isn't. Like, whatever. YouTube will probably ban all of them at some point. Like, as soon as they figure it out, they'll just program their AI bots to ban it all, and then they'll move on to the next thing that they ban. James Anderson, supposed to be a Mukultra Psychos operation. I have no idea who that is, but I imagine it's just a organization of people who are trolls, and they're trolling. Some of those animations seem like there's some effort was put behind them, but you can pretty easily hire some Korean animators to animate anything, and because they speak Korean, they don't have a clue or idea what they're doing. And let's face it, some of the creators of a lot of animated content like to put in dirty jokes here and there, so it's not they'd probably be more than willing to take somebody's money to do it. I dare say something controversial here. I know you're not supposed to say anything controversial on the internet because everybody will hate you for it, but it probably is a great opportunity to start the discussion with your children if your children somehow came across all of that. Like, whatever age they are, you can give an age appropriate response and not make a big deal about it. And so many parents get outraged because they have to talk to their kids about sex when they should have already and should be talking to their kids about sex. It's ridiculous.
Tonight,
Like, it doesn't look like any of those videos are good information, so at the very least it could be a good point to have a conversation about how some information on the internet is wrong. In fact, when it comes to sex, there's a lot of wrong information about making custom sex aids that are terrible. Terrible. I've seen sex aid toys that have been made out of coffee cans, made out of drills, things that are going to literally either kill you or end up with you being in the hospital. There's a very famous one where somebody tries to do something with glass and they cut themselves very horribly with a glass jar. It's a very old one. I won't mention it to keep people's sanity, but the right information is Amazon.com sells sex toys. Buy a sex toy. They're a little bit more expensive than you would think, but they last well. There's some other things you can do. You can don't get cheap things. Look at the reviews, see how easy it is to clean, things like that. But don't use bad information, and don't try do-it-yourself things when do-it-yourself creations when it involves putting it near or around your body. There was a Canadian radio lady, and there was also Sex Talk with Dr. Drew for many years, that they would constantly be asked the same questions over and over again because these questions were just not getting answered or taught. And so, yeah, my thought on quote-unquote ElsaGate is it's an opportunity for conversation. In fact, that's probably my response to any gate. Is it like whether you're talking Gamergate, it was an opportunity for conversation for people who wanted to have a conversation, and the people who didn't want to have a conversation tried to shut it down. Every gate is pretty much that. Opportunities where we can have more civil discourse and a free exchange of ideas, or there are the other people who don't want that, and those people shouldn't be involved, or their opinions shouldn't be considered valid. That's why even when the neo-Nazis march in front of statues or do marches anywhere, it's really an opportunity for people who know those people to sit them down and go, look, this is why I think you're wrong. Maybe you should rethink this. Like, let's have a realistic conversation, and not just have everybody entrench into their own preconceived ideas. Because that's the only way you change hearts and minds, is through conversation. You can't do it through force. You can kill as many people as you want, but unless you kill all the humans on the planet, there's still somebody that's going to resent you killing people, and they're going to turn against you. Like, I found myself very much turning against a lot of the more liberal thoughts that I agree with, because people are so aggressive and so beating a dead horse. Like, people are still trying to push this idea that the reason why Nintendo, which is horrible about how it treats streamers, the reason why they told people that they can't stream is because of PewDiePie saying the bad word. I'm like, come on, you're just bringing this up because you're beating your dead horse that PewDiePie is awful, when that really was the perfect example of there was nothing more he could have done. He immediately apologized on stream. He made another video to apologize about it, where he went longer and in detail apologizing, and I think he made a third apology videos. Like, so apparently in the minds of some old news, old media video game reviewers and sites, there's no amount of apologizing. They will never be satisfied, and I can't support, or I have to turn against somebody who won't take an apology on face value, at least in most instances. They're just trying to demonize PewDiePie. And it has literally forced me into watching PewDiePie, which I didn't ever watch PewDiePie before. And now I'm watching him almost every day. I'm subscribed to his channel. And I'm subscribing to more different people's channel because I'm not liking what I'm hearing and what is being repeated over and over again. Even I'm having to repeat it over and over again. And honestly, it's a dead story. Most recently, PewDiePie made Swedish meatballs. So, and he's selling a Swedish meatball t-shirt. And I'm sure somebody out there might complain about that. Alright, I'm looking at my Twitter feed where I get most of my news, and probably should if people want to tweet out people I should follow on Twitter, like add them to me and I will follow them. And I'll give them a try at least. Like, I'm not gonna follow other people that aren't video game announcers, so don't tweet out yourself to me. Well, I guess I could follow you, but I probably wouldn't ever see any of your things. I use my Twitter to see news of new games, but if you know of some other sites that report on new games or companies that make games that are actually worth looking at, tweet those out to me. I guess in general people could just tweet me more often. Like, it has been 100% a one-way street on Twitter. Like, nobody has ever really said anything to me, and I think that's probably one of the major problems of Twitter, is that famous people, not that I'm famous, shout out on Twitter, and then unfamous people have Twitter accounts, but they don't ever talk on them. Let's go ahead and add this. Let's see. I am still on James Anderson, so no, wait, that was Red Phoenix. Yeah, I'm still streaming. So deal along here, if you can get into a casual game so I can spectate and win, we'll try this once or maybe twice. The only other thing I need to do is win 5 games with the Paladin and Priest, and I don't really need to do that right now. I may very well just trade this out because that's going to take a while. But after that, if you're not going to jump in, I guess maybe I could hold on to the watch and learn. Let's see. Because I have gone over, I have run out of things. There is a game that I'm seeing an ad for on YouTube for, like, Warhammer. Is that what it's called? Let me see. That has caught my attention, and I think somebody wanted me to play Warhammer, and then they described it to me, and it's like, I don't know which game it was that I'm seeing an ad for. He's still searching for an opponent. Oh great, take me to a website that immediately asks me to pick through 20 different websites. Let's see. Let's see. I'm looking for Warhammer Steam, I guess. Might be what I need to search. Spectate. There we go. Now it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to win since he just started, but maybe he'll get what? Never seen that error before. Let's see. Total War Warhammer on Steam. Let's look at this. yeah, this is it.
Versus Rexa.
I've been seeing the ad for.
Next to hunt.
I didn't think Warhammer was this game. I thought it was something different. Man, that is loading poorly. Guess streaming. See, it's only 7:30 Central Time, so it's not even that late. Published by Sega, made by Creative Assembly and Feral Interactive. But when you look at the actual gameplay video, it seems kind of probably like a better version of a castle building, army control, real-time strategy game. Like, it's caught my attention, but it's also lost my attention. Which, that's probably gonna sound sad to the person that wanted me to play it. It looks like it might even be a card-based game with just a really fancy overlay. Let's see. Turn-based engine empire building with colossal real-time battles and set in a world of legendary heroes. Like, it all looks good, but honestly, it doesn't look like the kind of game I'd want to play.
I hope you like my invention.
I've been having trouble with my internet lately, where it seems like my internet likes to it likes to lower its download speed for no reason and just kind of lock into that. So Twitch now has a beta, and Hearthstone in-game loot for October. So November you're going to get a special card pack with gold cards, and then in January you're going to get 2 card packs for Hearthstone, and let's see, the way Twitch integrates all of this though doesn't work very well. More loot if you're Twitch Prime member too. So I don't know if I need to do something or if I don't. Madden in-game loot too. The free games with Twitch Prime has changed to free in-game loot with Twitch Prime very quickly. Very, very quickly they've stopped giving you free games. And see, I have that free subscription. I should ask, like, who should I subscribe to every month? Like, on Twitch. Because I could subscribe to one person for free who deserves the most support. And who would actually see that money and it would actually matter. Oh, here's a odd story. There's this game, I think it's called Blue Reflection. I could be a little bit wrong, though. That I'm looking at a Dropbox with a bunch of desktop wallpapers that are giant. They're really, really big pictures of images for the game Blue Reflection, but that might not be the game I'm talking about. In fact, since I'm not really doing anything right now, why don't I just look at the source of that article and get the right information instead of just talking out of my butt. Here we go. Oh, it is Blue Reflection. So, there's a game called Blue Reflection. It's one of the many Japanese games that come and go and never get Western releases. And that's kind of it. So there's literally nothing more to say about it than that. Other than somebody made a nude mod for it. So the main character, who is a high school girl, junior high girl in a Japanese school, is just doing all of the actions that they were programmed to do. The only difference now is instead of the game rendering clothes on her, it isn't. And so the article I saw said that's pretty much the only thing that's gotten any attention. Arguably that's true, because frankly, Japanese games where you play a character in a school and it's just kind of a visual novel in a 3D world are such a dime a dozen that, yeah, you can easily miss it. But I was thinking that would be rather interesting to play a game just as a nudist. Like, one character is a nudist, they come to school as a nudist, they walk around and do they walk around and do normal things as a nudist. Of course, people would always pervert it, but that's just something that nudist people have to deal with. James Anderson, now that I'm back on the chat looking at it, says, I'm famous, OMG, I'm totally gonna have this recorded and show my parents and wait to be on Oprah's, on the Dr. Phil show. Can't wait to be on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is an idiot. I wouldn't spend 5 minutes with him. He's only famous because Oprah made him famous, and she doesn't really deserve to be famous either. Just bad shows. Yeah, assuming I don't accidentally delete the stream like I did the last one, this stream will be here if you want to show it to people, and that certainly will help me get views. Still trying to get a lot more subscribers. Still trying to get a 1,000 views at the very least on the playlist that I've made now for the ad revenue things. I guess in all fairness, if you see any videos under my one of my latest playlists that says not YouTube ad friendly, and you think any of those videos are acceptable for most advertisers, which arguably maybe none of them are, and that's the problem here, is I don't know. Like H3 Productions, I think, made a good video recently where somebody was talking about the Las Vegas shooting and they got demonetized, yet Jimmy Kimmel's monologue that got put on YouTube is totally monetized, and he's talking about the Las Vegas shooting. So there's clearly a double standard. Clearly YouTube bends over backwards for the big people. They want YouTube to be the new TV. They want to get the big people in there. You can see that in the CEO made a YouTube channel, and her first video is her getting advice from The Rock and a bunch of other people that are either not YouTubers at all or people I don't even know. So like no real YouTubers were invited to her first video. But yeah, clearly they want The Rock to make a YouTube channel. Clearly they want the big people, and they want to get rid of all the people that made the channel big. If they could, they would kick PewDiePie off YouTube. Like the biggest YouTuber ever. If they could, they would kick him off, certainly. it's the grass is greener on the other side, and it's gonna kill YouTube eventually. We just need to somebody smart enough and capable enough to make a replacement for YouTube and can convince everybody who goes to YouTube to look at videos to go somewhere different. Facebook is trying to be that, but Facebook has its own problems. Let's see. Decent chance here he might win. And then that'll be the end of the stream. But what was I talking about? I've forgotten. Well, good. We're right here, done. We get a watch and learn. D-Long succeeded. We can open these card packs and see what we get for that. So I have one daily quest left, and I'll be back on Wednesday. I suspect I won't get too much other work done today, even though we're ending sort of early. But I've hurt my shoulder somehow, and it hurts to hold a controller and play games, so I'm trying to rest that. And then, like I said earlier, I'm gonna go spend 2 hours and 45 minutes plus watching Blade Runner 2049. That movie is incredibly long. Tomorrow, so that's my one movie in a theater per year quota. Let's look at the new cards we got. And in the Asian accounts, I'm keeping the gold cards just to see if that helps, or in the long run. I don't think it will. I think it's much better to trade off the gold cards into dust and buy more common cards. Let's see. James Anderson says, later dude, nice seeing you. Thank you, James Anderson, for the help. I probably could have traded out this one. Sadly, I made a mistake. I should have traded out this one and done the challenge a friend, and then I could have gotten you 80 gold on this account. Not that 80 gold is really going to help you too much on the Asia account, because I doubt you'll play it ever again. And I am going to start just now as a policy trying to friend more actual Asian account players so I can grow this out. Anybody who plays. That's gonna be it for this stream. Pretty good one. Didn't get into too many rants. Learned some new things. I love it when the chat brings me things like Elsa Gate so I could learn something and have more information. It is a little bit of a drag if I'm just always spouting out information that I already know. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.